Good afternoon. You're watching Business World Live here on One News. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Wednesday. Okay, local shares correcting a touch today. That's after, of course, a rally on Tuesday. The PSEi is down 0.3% to 7,230. This comes ahead of the government meeting on Thursday, at least for the next set of virus curves in Metro Manila. Recall, of course, that NCR will be under or is under alert level 3 until month end, according to BSP Governor Ben Jokno. The economic growth has gained traction, and that there are already concrete signs of recovery ever since rather we eased restrictions here in the capital. Earlier in the program, though, Matt Cabangon of AAA Equity said, looking at the index here, ranging between the 7,200 to 7,400 is pretty much a huge resistance level. He says breaking above this will bring us back to pre-pandemic levels, but doubts that fundamentals are there for us to actually break higher. He's saying inflation is still top of mind for investors and will likely be dominant. Will be the dominant theme at least for next year, as the Fed is expected to hike earlier than expected. That's going to put pressure on the Banco Central to keep step with the Fed's actions. Today's leaders, at least advancers, if you try to take a look at this chart right here, our top advancer for today is Wilcon Depot, leading the charge up by 6.2%. The home improvement retailer is extending its rally for a fourth day, as a third quarter net income jumped by 17% year on year to 622 million pesos. That's despite net sales dipping close to 2% to 6.6 billion pesos. Again, sales for the quarter dipped due to strict lockdowns back in August. It's a third straight quarter, however, that Vulcan posted a net income exceeding 600 million pesos. This is bolstered by higher margin in-house and exclusive brands. 9-month profit is up by 111% to 1.87 billion pesos year on year. Again, like what I mentioned earlier, you have Vulcan ending the day in the green. Four straight days of gains here for the stock as it advances 6.2% to 31 pesos and 65 centavos a piece. Lastly, some updates here on Philippine Airlines. PAL Holdings says fresh capital from Buona Sorte will be infused into Philippine Air. This as Buona Sorte extends a 5-year term loan totaling $250 million to fully meet the airline's capital requirement of $505 million. This will be used to support its application for capital increase by debt to equity, which is set to be filed within the year. Again, this will allow creditors to swap new Philippine Air shares for PAL Holdings shares, which is slated for the first quarter of 2022. Just to give you an idea, Buona Sorte is a company of Lucio Tan, who is also the chairman of PAL Holdings. Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. Retailers are hopeful that this Christmas season, they will finally be able to recoup their losses from previous lockdowns. Philippine Retailers Association President Rosemary Ong says they are confident that businesses will recover lost revenues in the remaining months of the year. This as restrictions ease further and as more people begin shopping for the holidays. Over the past few months, Ong said some establishments were afraid of being classified as non-essential, forcing them to temporarily halt operations. But now that mobility restrictions have relaxed under Alert Level 3 in Metro Manila, retailers are expecting an increase in sales and a merrier Christmas. Ong assures the public that retailers follow health protocols and that majority of their members have a 100% vaccination rate among their employees. Meanwhile, the DILG reports that the number of areas under granular lockdown in Metro Manila has gone down to 94 as COVID-19 cases continue to drop. Local governments with areas still under localized lockdowns are the cities of Manila, Marikina, Navotas, Quezon City, and Pasay. The government says more than 32,000 food packs have been distributed to affected families. Meanwhile, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez says vaccination of minors will be expanded across the country by November 3. Currently, inoculation for the 12 to 17 age group is only allowed in select hospitals in Metro Manila on a pilot basis. And the Transportation Department is backing the proposal to raise the passenger capacity in PUVs back to 100%. The agency says it is ready to pitch this proposal to the IATF tomorrow. Transport Group Manibela, meanwhile, says that this proposal is long overdue, noting that some transport workers have been disregarding the 50% capacity limit for some time. The group adds that restoring passenger capacity to 100% will help PUV operators and drivers deal with rising fuel prices as the government has not allowed fare hikes. Back to full capacity for public transport. The Transportation Department is behind the move 100%. But is this the way to go while we're still in the middle of a health crisis? To discuss that, among other things, we have Mar Valbuena. He is the National President of Manibela. Good afternoon, Mar.
Good afternoon, Jes. Good afternoon sa Businessworld. Good afternoon po sa ating mga
Okay,
nanonood.
thank you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so it's been 2 months of increases here. Fuel prices, of course. How has that affected PUV drivers? How has that at least reduced your take-home income?
Sir, syempre lalong nabawasan sir yung kita namin dahil 9 pesos per liter na yung tinaas ng fuel. So, tapos 50% capacity pa. Wala na sir natitira para doon sa ating mga drivers. Wala na talagang may uwi. Talagang hirap na hirap. Pinagkakasya kung ano po yung kinikita lamang sa buong araw.
Okay, but your group said, as we reported earlier, matagal na rin naman that your capacity is beyond 50%. To be honest, at least the situation on the ground, up to what capacity ba yung ina-allow kadalasan ng mga PUV drivers?
Actually sir, kung makikita natin dati, binigyan tayo ng guidelines na kailangan may mga barriers yung mga sasakyan natin, and then naka-mask, naka-face shield. So bago sumampa doon sa ating mga PUBs, kailangan may temperature check. Kaya ang nangyayari ngayon, vaccinated din yung ating mga kababayan. So dapat talaga magluwag na sir para po makabawi din naman kami. Kasi mahirap po talaga magbiyahe na 50% lang yung kaya naming isakay, and then mataas pa yung cost ng fuel.
But again, syempre di maiwasan, there are concerns on safety and health. Your thoughts on this? Are you really implementing health protocols on the ground?
Sir, ano pa yung silbi ng mask? Ano pa silbi ng face shield? And vaccinated tayo, ano pa yung kinakatakot natin? Kung lahat naman nung sasakay, authorized person outside their residences, mga workers yan na siguradong matagal ng bakunado. At may data ba tayo na doon sa mga PUBs nakukuha yung transmission ng COVID-19?
But also,
meron ba silang data? Meron ba silang data na sa PUB natin nakukuha yung transmission na yan? Wala naman sir. Doon sa ginagawa nating contact tracing, wala naman tayong makita na doon po nang galing yung pinanggagalingan po ng transmission sir. At saka kung makikita natin yung mga PUBs natin, well ventilated siya. So safe po talagang sumakay. Kesa po naghihintay yung ating mga mananakay, yung ating mga pasahero, ang tagal-tagal po ng queue, 2 hours naghihintay po sa mga terminals, kesa po ihatid na lamang natin sila ng mas maaga sa kanilang mga tahanan, sir, pagkagaling po sa trabaho.
Okay, pero at least you pushing for 100% capacity sa mga PUVs, including mga jeep, that is also hinged on the fact na dapat vaccinated yung mga tao na sasakay, like what you mentioned earlier.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do? Meron ba kayong proposal at least to better check kung vaccinated ba talaga yung mga pasero? Is this something that you are already doing on the ground?
Sir, based dun sa report, more than 80% na yung vaccinated sa atin. So sino na lang ba yung hindi nababakunahan, sir? Siyempre yung mga workers, hindi rin papayagan ng mga companies yan na pumasok na hindi sila vaccinated, sir. 'Di ba? Pagka pumasok tayo ng mga establishment, hinahanap ngayon yung card kung vaccinated ka na.
Mm-hmm.
So yun din sir yung nakikita natin kung pumipila sila sa terminal, pwede natin na bago ka sumakay, pakita mo yung card mo kung fully vaccinated ka na. Tsaka natin lahat ng fully vaccinated, pwede na natin isakay doon na 100% capacity doon sa sasakyan.
Mm-hmm.
Tama, sir?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Mark, another proposal here, at least the government has already approved this, yung 1 billion peso cash grant for PUV drivers. Is this enough for the sector? How many drivers yung kailangan maghati-hati dun sa 1 billion?
Sir, kung wala pa silang binibigay na guidelines kung paano hahati-hatiin yung 1 billion pesos. Pero doon sa computation ko, kung ibibigay nila yan 5,000 pesos per driver, so mga around 200,000 na drivers lamang po ang pwede nating mabigyan. So ang tanong natin sa kanila, ano ba yung scope ng 1 billion? Sa NCR lang ba yan o sa buong Pilipinas? Kung sa buong Pilipinas po yan, kulang na kulang po talaga.
Mm-hmm. But at least for NCR, how many drivers are we talking about? Kung sa Metro Manila lang muna.
Sir, sa Metro Manila, more than 200,000 ang drivers natin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead.
Sige. And then, yung 5,000 pesos, sir, 1 billion is kung ilang months ba namin gagamitin yan? Oh, di ba? Yung 5,000, sir, kung sa 9 pesos, nasa 10 days lang kung i-compute natin para magamit namin siya. So, gaano katagal yung itatagal noong pagtaas, noong mga fuel natin? Aabutin pa yung sinasabi next year kumpara doon sa ibibigay natin doon sa mga drivers. Hindi naman natin hinihingi lahat. Baka may ibang option pa bukod po doon sa subsidy na ibibigay sa atin na worth 1 billion. So baka may mga ibang revenues pa na pwedeng gawin ang LTFRB, particularly yung DOE, na siya yung may control ng fuels, ng mga gasolina. Baka po pwedeng bawasan yung excise tax. Hindi naman natin hinihingi na libre na, at least kalahati man lang nun mabawasan. O di kaya isuspend muna hanggat ganito kataas yung ating presyo. Naiintindihan natin na sobrang laki. Yung computation nila is 134 billion. To be exact, yung mawawala kapag sinuspend natin yan. So, ikumpara mo dun sa 1 billion na ibibigay po doon sa ating mga PUB drivers. So, kulang na kulang po, Sir Jes.
Of course, the suspension of the excise tax on oil is going to be a long process. While that remains pending, again, the government is allotting 1 billion pesos for the cash aid, or aid rather, for PUV drivers. Ano yung mechanism na inaasahan nyo, at least in the distribution of the cash aid? And how confident are you that it would really reach people on the ground?
Yun nga, sir, yung pantawid pasada, yan lang yung isang means na pwede nating gamitin. Pero I suggest talaga na kung po pwede, bigyan na lamang ng discount doon sa mga gasoline station yung ating mga PUB drivers. Kasi yung pantawid pasada, sa operator po yan napupunta. Hindi naman tayo against doon. Kaya lang, ang bumibiyahe po yung mga drivers.
Yes, speaking of discount, according to the Energy Department, there are already oil firms that have agreed to give discounts, especially for PUV drivers. What have you heard so far? How much of a discount are you expecting?
Siguro sir, kahit half na lang noong tinaas nung presyo. Kung 9 pesos yan, at least 4 pesos, 5
Mhm.
pesos, pwede na. Siguro malaking tulong na yan sa amin kung per liter yan na makukuha po natin.
Okay, at least 4 pesos per liter. That at least is the minimum na inaasahan nyo ng discount from oil companies. Thank you very much
Yes.
for your time this afternoon. It was nice talking to you again. Mar Valbuena, National President of Transport Group Manibela. Thank you, Mar.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And those are the biggest stories this trading day, October 27, 2021. Catch Businessworld Live again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jes Delos Santos. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.